My name's Oishik. Today our chess talk will go to the stage of the intermediates. First intermediate is castling. There are two types of castling. The king side castling and the queen side castling. This is also gives safety for your king so you don't get away, and activation for your rook. Since the rooks are on the corners, they will get active in the middle and start getting active. It's starting to control in the middle. So let me show you a king side example. So first of all, you could play this the queen's pawn 2 steps or the king's pawn 2 steps. This is controlling the middle. Like the squares are d4, e4, e5, d5. So d4, d5, gc, trying to get the bishop out of the way, and then he is playing f6, or he could play actually g6, then h3, h6, knight f3, knight f6. So this is also a special move where the king moves 2 steps, so you have to clear these 2 spaces. And remember, I forgot something in the caption. You cannot eat your own pieces. Then the white will castle, at the same time the black will castle. Sometimes there will also be 3 pawns you could see on the front, sometimes when you are castling. Okay, so instead if he played e3 and e6, you would see 3 pawns. So when you start getting the rook activated, you might get mate, so you have to give an opening space. Like, let me show you a kind of mate. It is here. And then this bishop is here. The rook is here. And imagine this queen was here, and this queen was here. This is a back rank mate. Did you see how the king can move here or here? So that's why it needs an opening space so it can escape from the queen or the rook. Alright, so always do that when it's endgame. Okay, you don't have to do this daily. You can do this only at endgame, so better watch out for your king safety. So you have to give king safety after your castling. Now let's talk about the queen side castle. So we talked about the king side castle. It's like an opposite castle of the queen side, except that you have to move out the queen too, and the same thing does. And this time the rook will like move king here. The rook will like move to the queen's place this time. Now for the queen side castle, you could like play d4 or d5. Just the only thing I wanted to tell you is like get your other pieces out of the way, like your knight, your bishop, okay, and your queen out of the way. Then your king moves 2 steps this time. It originally moves 1 step, but this time it moves 2 steps. Like to d1, then c1. Then the rook goes to b1, leaps over the king, the other square. Well, the rook doesn't jump over pieces, but this time it normally does. But there's one thing, some things that you have to remember out of where you can't castle. So suppose you are in this position. This position in check, okay? You will not be able to castle. Whenever you're in threat or check. Another thing you could do is that if your rook is threatened by some piece, suppose if it is threatened by the bishop, you will be able to castle. It's a good way to save your rook. But there's one thing. You could castle, but if either pieces move, suppose you're in check, okay? And suppose you have moved the rook, and then suppose the bishop played here. Then you played your bishop here, and then he played his pawn here. And your rook played. But you can't still castle because your rook already previously moved to c1. Or d1, if you could say. So whenever the rook is moved, you will never be able to castle. Now let's start summarizing what we said. So first thing we summarized. The king and the queen can do two types of castling, the queen side and the king side. And the second thing we wanted to summarize, there are two moves. You have in the king side castle, move out the bishop and the knight in front of the king, in between the king and the rook. But in the other side, the queen side castling, there will also be a queen, so you also have to remove that. At the same time, the bishop and the knight. And third thing we wanted to talk about, that if you're checked, you will not be able to castle, even though you can save your king. You can't do it. And third thing, that if your king or rook has previously moved and you move it back, you still cannot castle. Now I'll teach you about a cool move called en passant.